Hey guys, Scary Stories here. Hope you're doing well tonight. I have a few more stories for you. And these ones are about seeing or hearing things that may or may not be there. I find the second one particularly interesting, as it reminds me of a creepypasta that's a little more popular now, even though this one's sent in from 1999. Anyways, I won't give away too much. I'll let you listen to it for yourself. I hope you enjoy. Okay. First, I must say that I do have an interest in ghost stories. Probably along the same lines as my interest in Stephen King novels. The tales are great, but I can't say that I really believe them. I also tend to be a logical thinker and would probably explain away any entity I ever encountered. Spock, stand aside. Okay. Here goes the only thing that's ever happened to me that I remember and cannot explain. I believe that I was preteen, 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there. My mom and I took a trip to Niagara Falls to visit my G-mom. One night, we had one of those violent sounding thunderstorms that go through the area. I was lying upstairs in my bedroom with my G-mom. I was unable to sleep and went to the window to look outside. What I saw as that night was someone stealing tires out of my G-mom's garage. It was separate from the house. My G-mom was in the room with me and told me to go back to bed. I told her what I saw, but she just chalked it down to the imagination of a kid. Just for the record, this did happen, by the way. She had rented her garage from a quote-unquote friend, and the renter came in and stole some expensive tires. This, of course, is not the spooky part, but it just sets the mood for the evening. I was lying in bed, keeping myself occupied by talking to the wind. I was really just playing and asking the wind to tell me when I would die. I was a strange kid, I guess. I would take a gust of wind as an answer. Of course, I didn't always like the answers, so I always just kept asking until I finally received one I did like, which was 79. I guess we'll just have to wait and see about that one. Anyways, I finally started to doze off. The storm had played a big part for me that night, since the robbery occurred during the worst of it, and the wind answered my questions. I must tell you here that I was very much awake for the next part, and no one with any psycho mumbo-jumbo could convince me otherwise. I was awakened by the wind, only this wind came from under my bed. I was not a foolish child given to wild imaginings, so I assumed this was an echo from the wind outside. But as it continued, I started to get really scared. It just didn't sound right. It kept getting louder and softer, and to top this off, there seemed to be no breeze from the open window. I leaned over the side of my bed to see if I was originally right, that it was just an echo. But it stopped. That is until I was back on the bed. Then it started again. After a few false starts, I finally had the nerve to get off my bed and look underneath. I crept, not to the side of the bed, but to the foot, which faced the door to the room. As I leaned down to peer under, it kept up its weird, windy sound all the time, and I was more than apprehensive. But I finally worked up the courage and I peered under the bed. And as I did this, the sound tripled in volume. I seemed to be right on the source. It was coming from under my bed. I was a kid after all, so naturally I got scared and ran off to my mom's room. I never said a word to her, but the next day she asked what was wrong. I told her a shortened tale of what happened, and of course she wrote it off as just a dream. I don't remember whether or not my Gma died in that bed, but I do know that it was her pre-death bed. What could have happened? Never have I had any experience since. But sometimes I have to wonder just how close children are to the other side. The other side reminds me of those Insidious movies, I think. The one where the older lady goes into that ghost side, shadow world, or the other side. She sees like all the ghosts there and stuff. I think that's Insidious. I don't know. Either way, I have one more for you tonight. Wait. I just realized that last one was called Thudding Sound. But I don't think there was a thud in there. I guess it's hard to write. Winding sound. Whooshing. Whoosh. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, I have one more for you tonight. This one's called The Top Hat Man. So this story may end up being a little long. It requires some background. My brother had a friend who rented a house from this old woman. A little further back in the woods, there was an old shed which was full of cool stuff, or so I'm told. I never actually went in myself. But apparently, this shed belonged to an old man who died. My brother and his friend would go in there from time to time, but the friend would never let me tag along. Eventually, my brother started taking things. Old license plates, bottles, cans, etc. His friend was very religious and did not approve of what he was doing. So, he just stopped going altogether. One day, my brother was talking about the place, and we asked him to take us with him. It was me and my two friends, a brother and a sister. I also should let you know that these two were scaredy cats. They couldn't even watch Unsolved Mysteries. Anyways, we started through the woods. We passed through these two open spots that looked like they'd been cleared for a road, but it was never finished. Well, we came to this big clearing, and about a quarter mile away, we could see the shed. However, something better caught our eyes. There was this enormous oak tree. Just beautiful. Its branches came out of the trunk and curved round and stretched down to the ground. One of these branches even started to burrow underground. They were very, very sturdy and thick, so, of course, the four of us started to climb. We were probably on that tree for about half an hour when, at the same time, my brother and I looked in the direction of the shed. We looked back at each other, knowing we both had seen the same thing. We started to run, and the others followed. Once we got into the first clearing, we stopped, but the brother and sister just kept running. I can't be certain, but I think it was the old man. All I saw was a silhouette of a man in a hat that kind of looked like a smushed down top hat, kind of like the type they wear in Broadway shows. And there was also a dog, or a shadow-like dog at his side. It was a perfectly sunny day, and he was standing in a clear open space. There was nothing to shade him, but he was completely black. I wasn't really scared. In fact, I wanted to go back. But we decided to catch up with the other two, who, by the way, didn't see a thing. And they didn't even know why we were running until we got back and told them. They just got scared. Well, that's interesting. Story from 1999, talking about shadow people, and also a guy in a top hat. Kind of reminds me of that Top Hat Man creepypasta. I don't know. I love reading these older stories from these web archives and stuff. And they're fun, silly, not too scary, a little lighthearted sometimes. It's nice to take a break from the abundance of stalker stories and creepy encounters. We will get back to those, but I like taking a little break and having fun with these ones. As always, I hope you enjoyed. If you liked the video, maybe give it a like. Maybe comment down below, say hi. Anyways, that's all I have for you tonight. And I hope you're treating yourself well. You are amazing, and you deserve to be happy. And I hope you have a great night too. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.